abusivefathers.com.
Welcome to the Brave Fathers Show. And now, the prophecy.
How do you expose a female narcissist? That's what we are going to talk about today. My name is John Paul from bravefathers.com. And today we have a very important topic. Now, why is this topic so important? Why do we need to know how to expose a female narcissist? Now, I'm going to tell you why. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into the truth. We're going to get into the prophecy. Let's get the timing right. Right. So, why do we need to know how to expose a female narcissist? Now, if you are here, probably you are being hurt in one way or the other by a female narcissist. It could be a toxic wife, toxic girlfriend, an abusive wife or girlfriend who you have deemed to be narcissistic. Now, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a father who has been fighting alongside other fathers for the better lives of ourselves and our children, because we matter too as fathers, and our children matter, and our community and our society, all those things matter. So I'm just someone fighting. So what I'm sharing with you today is just the experience that I've had, is the things that I've learned from other people, and I'm still learning. We're all still learning. So that's why I've decided to do this in parts, because as I get the questions coming in, as I discover other things about this topic, I can then share with you, and hopefully we can figure out a way forward. So why do we need to know how to expose a toxic wife, for example? Well, you may be facing false allegations, so you have to prove that the allegations are false. And sometimes, not always, and this is one of the first things that we have to look at, it's worthwhile to show that the person has a narcissistic personality disorder, right? Where, in my definition, the simplest way I look at it is someone who essentially has no ability to, or desire to reflect on how they hurt other people and the mistakes they make that hurt other people. They care, they could care less. They care about nothing but themselves. So, to be clear, if somebody is self-indulgent, that doesn't mean they are narcissistic, because they may just be, they may be a bit selfish. But if they are able to, you could talk to them and say, look, I don't like when you do this. And they are able to say, all right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Let's say they spend all the day in front of the mirror. They are into themselves. That does not make them narcissistic. If they keep doing things on purpose that are malicious to you, and when you tell them, they may say, you know what, I didn't mean to do that, right? Because they know that that's what you want to hear. But then they're going to double down and do it more. Narcissists always look for things that hurt you the most. So that's why it's worth exposing them. You should know how to expose a narcissist, because you may have a dispute over something, again, usually in court. And so when you show what the person is like in character or lack thereof, you may have a better chance of winning whatever it is you're fighting for. On the flip side, if you don't know how to expose a narcissist, you may end up constantly being harassed by that person, constantly being harmed by that person, and a lot of important things in your life may be destroyed. You may feel the pain of, just being attacked from every angle. It's like somebody's just walking one step behind you, just waiting for you to trip, or may step on your heels to trip, or is just looking for you to fail, and then they can pounce on you. And unfortunately, there are people like that in this world, and that's why you're watching this. And very often, these people are female. Women hurt people too. And one of the reasons why I am focusing on narcissistic females is, of course, as a father, that's most likely the kind of person you deal with if you find yourself in a certain situation where the parent is restricting your contact with your children out of it. Not because you're a threat, not because you've done something wrong, no, just because they want to be spiteful and they want to be controlling. So, as we dive into this series, I want you to be sharing with me your experience, share your experience with me. I want you to pay attention, I want you to make notes, and I want you to listen very carefully. But I also want you to be willing to understand that a lot of these things are counterintuitive. And I'm going to do a special video on this, really diving into the counterintuitive aspect of it. Because when a narcissist attacks you, it can be very disorienting. You can get very confused very easily, you don't know what's going on. And with a female narcissist, what's worse, and again, this is another thing we talk about, a lot of people are willing to tolerate their abuse, right? So probably you've seen social experiments where a female hits a male and it's just accepted. And it's just accepted. And the society is such that most people prefer to pander to females. So that gives the female narcissist a lot of room to maneuver. So that's why videos like this are very important, because you may even be doubting yourself, like, am I being abused? And probably the answer is yes. If you're wondering about it, the answer is usually yes. So, as I said, a lot of these things are very counterintuitive. It takes a lot of work to expose a narcissist. And it's something that you should only do if you are fully committed. There are no half measures here, because, as I've mentioned before, the narcissists are ruthless. Narcissists are ruthless. They have no mercy. They have no pity. They don't feel sorry for you. The more you hurt, the better they feel about themselves. That's their sense of self-worth. Their self-worth comes from hurting you. So I've seen people give horrible advice, and often they start attacking me, which makes me suspect they are narcissists themselves. But I've seen people comment against me when I say, look, don't go to a narcissist and say, hey, you're hurting me. Because all you're doing is you're giving that person feedback. It doesn't matter if it's the mother of your children or it's your wife that you've been with for 15 years, 20 years, maybe 30 years. If you realize that you are being abused, approaching an abuser does not stop them from abusing you. They abuse because they want to abuse. There is this misconception that when a female is abusive, it's because, she's hurt about something, or there is something that you could do to change her behavior, that you triggered it. And it's something that bothers me, that even in professionals who help fathers, I've noticed they still have this trait. Many have this trait when they keep explaining the woman's abusive behavior and erratic behavior as something that they somehow caused. Because if you think that you caused a narcissist to be abusive, then you can't expose that person. And you will pull your punches, so to speak, when you're in family court. You will not do what you need to do. And we'll talk about that. Because I've made these mistakes, and they are very expensive. They are very expensive mistakes. So it takes a lot to recover from them. So let's just start jumping into some of the concepts that you need in order to expose a narcissist, especially if it's a female narcissist. So the first thing you have to understand is this. If you can, if you're in position to walk away, walk away. It's not a fight worth fighting. If you're in that position, so you may not be, because maybe you are fighting for your kids or your property or something that is really worth a lot to you. I would not even fight for property, personally. I would give up everything if that's what gets rid of the narcissist. Everything. If that would have a clean break and a cut and it's over, it's done, never hear about them or from them again, I would say do it. Even if you've made $100 million or $1 billion and the narcissist could be giving that money to go away. I'm not saying give a narcissist money to go away, but I'm saying if, let's say you were in court and you would lose all of that money, I would do it in a heartbeat. There's nothing worse in your life than a narcissist because they're like a leech that comes into your life, won't let go, and takes pleasure in sucking out your life force. That is what they are. There is no reason to be in touch with them for any reason. So if you can walk away, walk away. If let's say they take 80% of your property in court, I know this is not what you want to hear, but but I've got to be honest with you. This is only if you can't avoid going against a narcissist. If you can, again, uh, um, if they're gonna take 80% of all that you've earned and you never hear about them or from them again, do it. Walk away. If you don't have kids, you have nothing to fight for. Material things are not worth your health, they are not worth your life, your pride, your ego, your sense of fairness, your sense of justice, unfortunately, are nothing compared to what the narcissist will do the moment they realize you are fighting against them. That's the reason why I'm telling you to walk away. Because again, there are no half measure. The moment they realize you're going to fight back, they're going to multiply their force. And the Bible already tells us, hell, no, how does this go? Hell, hell knew no fury like a woman scorned, and a narcissistic woman scorned. Whew, you have to be ready for that. So walk away if you can, right? Now, I'm assuming you are not in position to walk away, which is why you're here, but I still have to say it because it's like saying, how do I fight a bear? Ideally, you don't fight a bear. How do I escape a bear? Ideally, you don't escape a bear, right? You just don't want to be in a situation where you have to face certain issues. And a narcissistic female is one of those things in your life where if you can avoid. All right, that's how important it is. Okay, that's why I keep repeating it. But let's go to the next step. So you have probably heard of going no contact with a narcissist. Now, it's not always possible to do immediately, but you must do it. Why? As I mentioned earlier, any kind of contact with the narcissist and trying to get them to understand how they are hurting you will just give them information they need to hurt you more. The analogy here is imagine somebody wants to rob you, right? And let's say you live in a mansion and you have very good defense system and somebody keeps chipping away at it. And then you go to the person like, excuse me, Mr. Robber, every time you chip away at that lock, it becomes weaker. So soon you might be able to break in. Could you please stop so that it stays strong? The robber is not gonna say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Right? They're gonna be like, oh, it's working. I'm getting closer to my goal. So every time you tell the narcissist, you're hurting me, that narcissist knows how to go against you. Right? So that's one thing. Two, the fundamental thing you must understand about narcissists is that they create an illusion. And that is the biggest and most difficult part of exposing a narcissist, to accept that illusion, to understand and grasp that it's all an illusion. I don't know if you've seen the movie called Dinner for Schmucks. And in the end, there's a scene where the guy, I can't remember his name, the bad guy, is mind controlling, I think it was Steve Carell's character, right? So to us viewers, it's like, why is he falling for that, right? There's no real control. It's just a mind tactic. And it's the same thing with narcissists. You see, when you first met her, I'm sure you had a great time. I'm sure you enjoyed being with her. You thought she was your soulmate. And for a long time, you have believed that she's your soulmate, right? For a long time, you have wanted to share your life with her. You realize, wow, this is the exact person that I want, who I've dreamt of, and so on and so forth. And then you gave her more and more room in your own life. But what you didn't realize was she was studying you. So you're studying exactly where your strong points are, where your weak points are, and as well as your potential to be used. Okay? So this is another part that is hard. Like we're going like into a rabbit hole because a lot of us males, we get very attached to our egos and we struggle to accept and we struggle to believe that we were chosen by the narcissist. That is the difficult part to accept because the narcissist has to pick the right target. It's like the same using the robbery analogy. The robber picks a target and says, okay, this house, I can't break into it, right? Pablo Escobar lives here. If I try to break into this house, I'm done. It's not going to happen. However, Mr. Rich Guy over here is more vulnerable. Let me try that house, right? I don't think there are many people who are trying to break into the White House, right? Many burglars. And they'll be intercepted very quickly. So a narcissist looks at somebody and says, oh, I can spot their vulnerabilities and I can take advantage of this person, I can use this person. Now, they have a very peculiar way of looking at the world. And the way they do this is they also create this fairy tale in their head that you are also everything they want at that time. And the way they do it is they mirror your admiration of them, they mirror your focus on them, they mirror your love, your care. It's fresh, it's new for them, right? So imagine getting a new toy, a new car or something. When it's new, you want to spend time with it, right? To do things with it, like a new toy. And that's how she feels about you at the beginning. So that also further creates that illusion of her being your soulmate. And what happens is they get so caught up in it, they get so intense with it that they believe it for a while. But also, they are creating a false image of you, right? So they're not really getting to know you. They are projecting an ideal that nobody really knows what it is apart from them. And it's partly based on what you seem to be able to offer. A lot of it is based on your admiration for them, but it's mostly fantasy. So when you allow them in like that, in that state, when the people fall in love or when they have feelings for another, they're enamored with each other. They share a lot of things. They tell each other almost everything they can about each other, right? So that's where the narcissist gets in. It's like little threads that they put into you, the little things that they put in, right? To be able to control you and to be able to get your life force, your energy. They need your energy because they are not able to generate their own confidence. They are not able to generate their self-love. They are not able to generate self-care, like on a true level. So they see similar vulnerabilities in you, but one of the things they realize is that you are the kind of person who cares. You're a nice guy. You want to be good to people. You want to contribute to people. You want to help people. And you may think that you need that so that you deserve love in return. A lot of males fall into this category. So the more you do for them, the more you do for a narcissist, a female narcissist, the more she's going to what? It's not a situation where you can satisfy this person, right? So as you fall for her illusion, you believe in it, but she's just trying to get energy. But because the projection of the image she has of you is false, right? So it's a fantasy, it's a fantasy both ways. She slowly starts devaluing you because she realizes, wait a minute, you're not who she thought you were. Not because you did anything wrong, because she just had a fantasy. She's getting bored. But those are the minor things. On the larger level, on the higher level, what she needs is she needs to feel superior to you. Because once the initial hit of dopamine, all those positive emotions that she feels are gone, she now needs a stronger drug, the feeling of superiority. Because narcissists, regardless of whether they are male or female, they see the world in absolutes, right? So they don't have like a gray area where like it's like, oh, we can compromise. Or I don't feel like the word compromise. We could come to an agreement on something. No, 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 no. It's either you win or you lose. That's it. That's it. It's either you win or you lose. So when they start devaluing you, another thing that happens is a lot of guys would now start trying to please them more, right? So a good example, which in society is accepted, but is actually something used by narcissists a lot, is let's say they stop having sex with you. Right? She stops having sex with you. And then she'll say, oh, but what if you do this? What if you do that? Oh, you keep asking me at this time. You are neglecting me, and so on and so forth. And a lot of guys have this mentality that, oh, if she's saying it, it must be true. And they might actually be grateful for that feedback and then try to please them more. And then the more they do, the less the less she has respect for you, which, by the way, is not something you can avoid because no matter what, the narcissist will always devalue you, no matter what you do, right? So don't think, oh, if I could. It's like there is no way to catch up with their self-hatred. You can't. And I think in another video I'll go deeper into that aspect of it because it's something that really destroys a lot of fathers. A lot of men get destroyed by that desire to please. But her desire, the illusion is breaking. But what's more important is your illusion of her is breaking, which she cannot handle. The weakness the narcissist has is you seeing them for what they are. They can't take it. So that's why I said in the beginning, don't try to expose a female narcissist or a male narcissist for that matter, any kind of narcissist, if you are not in all the way. Because the moment they realize you're trying to expose them, they'll bring out the most dangerous tools in their arsenal that they can find because their biggest fear is exposure, right? It's incomprehensible how scared they are of that. So that is their biggest fear. That's not their biggest weakness, though. And we'll get to their biggest weakness towards the end. And that weakness is what you need in order to expose female narcissists. But if you don't understand what you're doing, you're going to get hurt. So it's similar to the myth of Medusa, right? And I don't remember the whole myth, and I have to do that. But the way you kill the Medusa is you show her herself. You turn the mirror on the Medusa, and then she'll turn into stone. And it's the same thing with a narcissist. Once the mirror turns, the narcissist cracks. So if you've ever seen a narcissist act out, scream, I mean, it's crazy. Break things, hit, bite, scratch. It looks like when you watch a movie about an exorcism, like it really looks that way. It's scary, right? It's beyond comprehension. But that's because something triggered the narcissist to realize you are seeing they did something wrong. And it can be as little as, let me tell you one way you can, if you want to trigger a narcissist, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm going to tell you one way, but don't do it. And I know you're going to do it, but please don't do it. Please, please, please don't do it because you'll regret it. But let's say you're on a date, like a first date. One way of exposing to you, this not to the public, to you, to see whether the person is a narcissist, is say to them, tell me what you did wrong in the last relationship. Or say something like, tell me some of your flaws. You see, narcissists cannot stand seeing a flaw in themselves. They cannot take it. So anything that points to their flaws is instantly attacked. So that is one of the, that's not the main weakness, but that's one of the weaknesses. So as we're going in towards exposing your female narcissist that is involved in your life, understand again, so we are recapping from the beginning, if you can walk away, just walk away. The second best thing is no contact. And the no contact is because you don't want to give them a chance to get your energy. You don't want them to have a chance to get feedback about how they are hurting you. Narcissists are predators. So when they attack their prey, and make no mistake, they see you as prey, they have to calculate the expenditure of the energy, right? Because remember, they cannot generate their energy. You can watch this video, go back, sit down, reflect, do something, and you may feel depressed or sad, but you can find a way to feel strong again. Narcissists don't have this ability. That's why they are horrible to people, because they constantly have to feed on people's pain, people's admiration, on people's false perceptions of themselves. Everything in their world is false. And my belief is that they are constantly tormented. They probably are. And the only time they get less torment is in the beginning, when they have a fresh supply, right? Which was you at one point. But remember, you are not enough for a narcissist, not because there's something wrong with you again. And this is where people get caught up. And this is where people can't get out of it. Because, like, no, I'm going to be enough for the narcissist. I'm going to be the kind of man. I've seen courses on this, like how to be the 1% man who can satisfy a narcissist and things like that. You can't. You're dealing with somebody who is not using the human emotions to render the world. They are more reptilian than human in their thinking. So the same way you cannot pet a lizard, and even if you pet one, it's not gonna, roll on its back and like be all excited that you're touching it. The narcissist has no ability to actually be satisfied. So you can't satisfy a person that doesn't have the ability to be satisfied. So imagine a bucket that has holes under. You can pour a lot of water, but it's always gonna spill. It's the same thing with narcissists. So breaking the illusion that this person was your soulmate, that you are the person's soulmate, is the first stage. And most guys cannot get past this stage, unfortunately. And that's where the narcissist brings out another weapon, you see, which is very painful to experience. And that weapon is hoovering you back in. So they realize, okay, you're exposing them. They realize, wait a minute, this guy is actually getting somewhere with this. So they'll start being nice to you. And that's where people who go to counseling with narcissists may experience this. You go to counseling, you realize, oh, this motherfucker is trying to expose me. All right. You are and I don't say this to be mean, but stupidly, and I've done this as well. You're like, oh, because the fucking counselor will say some stupid shit like, write your feelings on a paper, right? So you are, yeah. So when you wake up in the morning and you scream at me, it really hurts my feelings. I'm the father of your children. When you humiliate me in front of them, I don't like it. The other time, little Jenny was being rude. I tried to discipline her, and you stopped me. And I cook and I clean and I do all that stuff, and I even give you time to sleep, and you still hurt me, blah, 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 blah. Right? The counselor says, well done, Andrew. Well done, James. Well done, John. You've expressed your fucking feelings, right? The narcissist is like, I hear you. Yeah, I see it now. Which they do see it. But what you've just done is said, hey, if you want to hurt me, here is a list. So whilst you are in the counseling, the narcissist may say, you know what? Let me play nice for a little bit. Because again, they want to avoid exposure. So they don't want to expose themselves to the narcissist, to the therapist. They don't want to expose themselves to the therapist. So they'll play along. Next time you come home, she's wearing lingerie, cooking your favorite meal, right? Put on your favorite show, brings you a cold beer and a sandwich. You're like, whoa, this counseling really worked. No. The moment it's over, she's going to punish you for exposing her or trying to expose her to the therapist. And you got hoovered back in because you still have the fantasy, the illusion of that perfect woman that she knows how to play, because you keep telling her she's not the person to do that with, but you don't realize. Again, it's like going online and giving somebody a map of your security systems to explain how security systems work. Of course, you're going to get robbed, right? And many people have experienced this, right? They'll show off, oh, here's my safe with my jewelry. Here is my $1 million in cash, $1 million in cash. Here is my expensive ring. Here's whatever on social media, right? And they get robbed. It's the same thing when you're doing this with the narcissist. And remember, the female narcissists have an extra layer of protection because they are female. Because a female narcissist is a woman, she gets the additional protection of the society. And that's why we have to do this, because there's so much work to be done to make sure you don't lose. But notice what we just did. You went to counseling with her. You told her all the things that hurt you, which means she has a full list of everything she needs to know on how to hurt you. She hoovers you back in, right? Just like when you're fishing, if you've been fishing, when the fish bites the hook, you don't pull the fish in straight away. You let it go for a bit, pull it back, give it false hope, right? So she's giving you this false hope. And then you open yourself up, and now she can hurt you even more. And if you're involved with family courts, now it has happened, and I've seen those situations happen. She's got the therapist as a potential witness, or at least a report from the therapist that says you've done X, Y, and Z because you've admitted. Your actions have been twisted. But the fact that you dared expose her, she will punish you. She's going to go down that list that you gave. And it doesn't have to be counseling. It could be you talking to friends. It could be you telling her how you feel, writing, making phone calls, whatever. Pillow talk, whatever. She has the full list of what hurts you. So because it's worked before, a lot of people think, oh, let's do counseling again, or let's try this again. This is what I'm saying. So it becomes a vicious cycle, not realizing that all this time she had never had any intention of changing her ways, because she won't change for you. She won't change for God. She won't change for nothing, not for her kids, for nobody, nothing. You're not dealing with a human being who is capable of change. That is the defining trait of a narcissist, as far as I know. And again, I'm not a psychiatrist, but as the defining trait of a narcissist is the fact that they are incapable of change. They don't want to be exposed even to themselves. They constantly have to create the false illusion that they are perfect. And you are the one. Something's wrong with you. That is your role in her life. And you may not realize that until it's too late. And if you're watching this, it's late. It's late in the process, but fear not. We'll find a way to expose her. But the bottom line of what I've said so far is you don't want to expose her directly. That's my point. You have to be stealth about it. She can't tell you've realized who she is, because you are probably not the first person she has heard. And chances are you have heard about her ex, right? About how horrible he was, about how he was a narcissist. And what did you do? Look, I'm putting two hands up that I did that, right? Jump in and protect her. All the people around her that are complaining about her, that are mean to her, you're like, this wonderful, amazing soulmate I found. Why is everybody so horrible against her? And then you have her back, right? You calm down the fights. You say, don't talk to this friend, blah, blah, blah. Until you realize that all those people were hurt by her before she met you. You're just the next in line. And probably there's like 3 or 4 or 5 others simultaneously, because narcissists can never be satisfied by one human being. They're always thirsty for fresh blood. They're always thirsty for more. Yes, when in the beginning stages, it's all about the fresh one. But once she's poisoned you with her energy, she needs a fresh one, unpoisoned one. You know, when you watch certain stories or movies like about vampires and things like that, I think perhaps there is like a psychological correlation that the filmmakers were trying to make to show us. Whether vampires exist or not, that's another story. But even just looking at the analogy psychologically, the vampire always has to get fresh blood. If you watch Interview with the Vampire, if the person is dead and they drink the blood, it hurts them, right? So the same way, once she's poisoned you, she doesn't want to drink back that poison. That's where the devaluation step happens. And then when you suspect the least, what happens? She discards you. Boom. Right? And I've seen many discards in my life, in different people's lives, especially since I started doing this kind of work. So you come home one day, children are gone. I remember there was one specific father that was really sad because he broke down on the phone. He really broke down on the phone that day. He'd never experienced that kind of hurt. Because he came home, his little daughter was gone, the wife was gone. And again, I've seen this many times. And he didn't know what to do. So he called the police and so forth, only to find out that he's been accused of domestic abuse. And they have run away to a shelter. So the discard is a horrible, horrible way they get rid of you. And it is always inevitable. It's going to come. And from the discard point onwards, they may hoover you back in, especially if they realize you are successful at exposing them. So again, if you're not all the way in, this cannot work for you. But once they discarded you, they will stonewall you, because now you are hurt, right? And you are in all these emotions. You are actually high on emotions, and you don't realize how dependent you were on her emotionally. What you thought was love was just an addiction that she was creating, because that's what they do. Because they know your triggers, they know your pain points. You told them how, let's say, you fell out with your dad, or you fell out with your mom, or you miss your great grandma, whatever it is that you tell them that's personal. They create feelings of comfort for those things that are temporary. Then once it's all taken away, you're now broken. And this is where most people fail. Because if you realize she was abusing you, you are not in a state to expose her, because you are all over emotionally. You need to cool off, which is again why no contact is so important. And you will look crazy, because frankly, narcissists drive you insane. My theory, my hypothesis is that a lot of people who end their lives is because they have one or more narcissists in their life that is being unchecked. So that's why this information is so important. There's one or more narcissists in their life that is pushing them to the edge or has pushed them to the edge. I even suspect some people purposely will push you to the edge, which again is why we must talk about this. And when it comes to females, they get so much protection from the society that they can do this unscathed, like with no punishment. But not always, because there was a case recently, it was about 2 years ago in the UK, where a woman was actually put in jail for abusing her boyfriend. And it was actually coercive violence. It was the manipulation and the mind control that she exerted on the guy. So all these things will give you another illusion. You may think that the narcissist or the female narcissist is invincible, but that's where you're wrong. The narcissist is not invincible. And the strangest part of it is that The narcissist is actually powerless, literally powerless. Now, here's a discovery that I had, right? So I used to have nightmares. And this is a great thing to share with kids, by the way. I used to have nightmares. And then I think I dabbled a bit in lucid dreaming. So that's like when you're dreaming, you're asleep, but you're still kind of conscious. I tried that a bit. Didn't go too deeply into it, just a little bit. It's quite fun, actually. What I realized was that, wait a minute, this is my dream. All this thing is in my mind, and I control it. Yes, now I've let go of it. It's all chaos. It's all scaring me. It's all looks like it's gonna hurt me. But I'm like, this is my dream. So then I started being able to take control of the nightmares because they were horrible, horrible things I would dream of. And you experience that when you're dealing with narcissists. And then later on, I realized that, wait a minute, she triggers me, but she triggers me, right? Which is the trigger is within me, or I experience a trigger within me, and whatever the reaction is within me. And what's within me, I can control. So if I can control it, if I can learn how to deal with my own triggers, the narcissist cannot me. And remember, we said something earlier. The narcissist is a predator. So predators have to be very calculating with how they expend energy. So if they don't get a reaction from you, they can't get a return of that energy that fuels them, that creates their own illusion of superiority. And that's when they start going really crazy. So, one of the ways we are getting there, but don't jump to conclusions because the narcissists are dangerous. So, pay careful attention here. Don't conclude this as the conclusion. Go jump in, try to expose the narcissist because believe me, you will fail if you don't have all the information you need. Try it and then come back if you're still in one piece. But one of the ways you expose the narcissist is when they try to trigger you and you don't react. And it's not enough just to be stoic, as people say. You can't do that. You literally can't react, as in, it does not bother you. You don't feel it. You cannot do this on the intellectual level. Again, you will fail. Don't believe me? Try it. Right? These people are dangerous. So, you know, I'm not sure if I should be sharing some of this stuff because people don't listen to they don't listen to the whole thing, they don't watch everything, then they go and do things, and then they're like, oh, it's working, ah! You know, and they end up in a worse position than they were before. And remember, you are not the narcissist's first rodeo. With each experience, they learn new tricks, right? So you may have seen this in public or even in a private space where the narcissist will say something that she thought would trigger you, and you're like, okay. And then she's not getting the supply of energy. She's not getting any of your life force, any of your reactions. She will go crazy because she can't regulate her emotions. So if this happens in court, and that's how many are exposed, or in a public space where there are witnesses, the narcissist is exposed. But unfortunately, usually that's not even enough because, again, females get extra protection. So I've seen situations where the narcissist is violent and the people around, because it serves them, will pretend they did not see that violence. So it takes a lot more work than you normally would to expose that narcissist. You have to be really on the next level of emotional development. You have to be at your highest spiritual self. And I'm not talking about religion. You really have to ascend and transcend into the strongest and most powerful version of yourself in order to combat a narcissist. And the real trick here is You have to know the steps and the strategies and techniques to let the narcissist expose herself. Because the horrible thing about narcissists is, like, I don't know which mutant it was in the X-Men, but there was one X-Man that whatever power you had, it would absorb your power and then hit you back with it. And that's what narcissists are like. When you try to get at them directly, they absorb that and then hit you back with it. They don't care if what you're telling them is negative. They don't care if what you're telling them is positive. They don't care if you're looking down on them or praising them. As long as you are focusing on them, is what they need. They need your focus on them. Your full attention has to be on them because they cannot generate their own sense of self. That's why they always seek attention. Always. Whether it's from their children, whether it's from sexual partners, a husband, a boyfriend, even social media. They need a constant supply of attention. So going back to the no contact part, when you go no contact, they can't get your energy. So when they come at you, they have to get the energy from somewhere else to come at you, which is expensive for them, right? Energy-wise. So you're putting them at a bit of a disadvantage when they fight you. And that's where you start making a lot of progress. So much so, you should go no contact to such a degree that you should not even talk about her. You want to get to a stage where you're not even thinking about her. It's not easy. I'm not saying you get there in one day, but you want to get to a degree where no matter what she has done, no matter how much she has hurt you, you can learn to resolve it. And it's very difficult to do. But the advantage you get then is she gets cut off from the energy she was planting. Because she needs to hurt you. Without hurting you, you're not going to pay attention to her. She's not capable of loving. And the pretend love that you have in the first few months of a relationship, she can't do it forever. Because at some point, you have to do something significant for you, right? That's what the relationships are, even friendship. At some point, somebody has to do something for you that takes a toll on them somehow. And narcissists don't want to do that. And don't mistake narcissists pretend sacrifice for that, because a lot of people do. Everything's calculated. So when you go no contact, she has to get energy from somewhere else. She's powerless. The reason why she's able to make false allegations against you is because you've reacted. It's because you told her what would hurt you, what you are scared of. It's because you kept her in your life. That's good news, because now you know you are the source of her power. And because she takes advantage of the system's protection, which protects females, that's what she's using against you. Without that, there's nothing she can do to you. So you have to realize that when you're in court, you're not fighting the narcissist. You're dealing with this. So when you want to win in family court, you have to stop thinking, Frank, and again, I told you in the beginning, a lot of it is counterintuitive. How do I expose the narcissist? Because you expose the narcissist by not trying to expose her, by cutting off her energy, by understanding how she thinks. And again, you just need the bare minimum. You don't need to know her full psychology because it's pointless and it's just poison. And then cut off the things that you are doing that so I have energy. And that she will expose herself sooner or later. What you must do is you have to build a case, you have to build a situation that she can't penetrate. And that's how you end up winning. That's how you end up winning. So it's realizing that she can't do anything without other people. Now, other people are very important here, because what will happen is a lot of times you will see that people are sympathizing with her. Again, partly because she's a female, partly because she's a liar. But just like a fly in a web, the more you try to maneuver, the more you get into it, the more you get caught up. So you need to know how to cut it. You need to know how to cut yourself out of that situation. And that's how you will succeed. So, for example, there are times when you should not respond. I'm using the family court as an example. There are times when you should be quiet. She will say things to provoke you. She will say things to attack you. What you need to do is you have to understand how the system works better than she does. And the same thing at work. You know, I know people who have been accused of things at work that they've not done by female narcissists. You have to understand the system better than she does. Because that way you can protect yourself, put safeguards to protect yourself. So when she inevitably acts out, or when she realizes her attacks are not working, you are protected and she's free to explode. It's like the truth comes out, it's like the sunlight on a vampire, right? She starts to burn down. She starts to burn down. So all this I've said so far cannot work if you don't break the illusion. If you don't break the illusion that she chose you because you were so cool. No, she chose you because she was able to spot your vulnerabilities. She saw your kind side, your good side. She saw your fears. She saw your fears. That's why you felt like soulmates, because she was scanning you, paying attention on a level that you may never have had. That maybe when you're a child, you needed from your parents and you didn't get. Maybe your mother did not have that love that you wanted from her, right? Where she just loves you unconditionally. Or your father did not protect you the way he should have. He didn't love you, he didn't care about you. Maybe he was too strict or too harsh on you. Or vice versa. Your mom could have been that way too, or both of them. So the narcissist looks for that. Listen, every predator in our society, any kind of psychopath, murderer, whoever they are, they stalk their prey. They study their prey. They actually formulate a plan. They decide, is this person worth going for? So you want to get to a stage where you're not attractive to narcissists. And a lot of dating advice out there actually for men makes them attractive to narcissistic women. Because it's all about the woman, where it should be all about yourself. It should be all about you. And you'll be like, oh, is that not narcissistic? No. Being about yourself is what adults do. You take care of yourself. And because you've taken care of yourself, those who deserve to be around you, those who have earned a spot in your life, or those for whom you are responsible, like your children, because obviously they didn't ask to be born, you can give them more, right? Let's say you go and learn, I have to do boxing actually. I've not done boxing, but I have to try boxing. Let's say you go and do boxing. You are improving yourself, but now you can protect your children better, right? Because you know how to throw a punch, or perhaps how to protect yourself. When you become happier, you can love your kids more, or your wife, assuming you find a good one later on after the narcissist. So it's all about you, and you only accept people who are worthy of that. But the narcissist plans on you falling for her based on feelings. That's why she creates the kind of feeling that you've never had. I had an associate who had always wanted to go to certain music shows. So what she did was she got, tickets, VIP tickets, and so on and so forth for him to go. And he was like, oh, nobody has ever done that for me before. But it was all a trap. Those things mean nothing. Material things mean nothing. Sex means nothing. Her marrying you means nothing. Like all those things, like if you are here, you probably know this, meant nothing. But a lot of people try to chase the illusion to bring those days back, not understanding that it was a trap, because she knew she would get you addicted to those feelings. She knew she was going to get you addicted to wanting her, to loving her, to the sex, to the care that you thought you were receiving. So you cannot expose her as long as you can't see clearly. How can you expose something you cannot see? And unfortunately, 90% of what I see online is, oh, try this, try that. And some would even say, if she has a personality disorder, learn how to live with it. There's a lot of such horrible advice actually getting to the mainstream these days. Because again, they don't want to stigmatize women in any way, shape, or form. I can't imagine the level of harm is going to cause for the next 2 or 3 generations. Like, it's scary to think about. It's scary to think about that. So if you want to expose her, you have to be clear on her. On the flip side, narcissists and their victims have one thing in common. That's right. You have something in common with the narcissist. And what's that? You also don't want to see your flaws. You are scared of seeing your weaknesses, not just the socially acceptable weaknesses, your actual weaknesses. Right? So one of the biggest ones, I'll just put it right up front, the fear of talking to women, the fear of approaching women. The narcissist knows if she gives you the pussy, if she wears that sexy lingerie, those heels that you've never had, right? Gives you that experience that you've only seen in movies. She knows you don't have the confidence to go and get it outside. She knows it. That's the truth. Like, right? Let's just be honest, right? I know I've been there. She knows that you don't have that confidence, or she assumes you don't. She knows that once you settle with her, you want to be in a monogamous relationship, and you're not going to look for pussy outside. So she has you on lock. She's got you controlled. So she has a safe space to create her illusions. Most likely, she'll also try to get you cut off from some friends and your family. So there's nobody who actually can see that there are changes in you and may even alienate you from them, or you may start alienating yourself because you think, wait a minute, she's ride or die with me and for me, and they are not. And once she's isolated you, again, that's where the devaluation stage can go to the next level. But once and as long as you are caught up in that illusion that it was once perfect, and every time I get a story, every time I get in touch, somebody gets in touch with me for help, it was perfect, and then the baby was born. Bullshit. It was not perfect. Oh, we had our times, we had our arguments. They were horrible arguments, but you are trying to make it look better than it was. So a big part of being able to expose the narcissist is actually being able to see for yourself the lies that you fell for, including the lies you told yourself. Because the narcissist will sniff out the weakness every single time, because they've been doing it from the age of 4, usually, from their childhood. Their whole existence has been observing people, watching them like machines, calculating. And that's why narcissists stick to very specific routes of being. That's why they are very one-dimensional. That's why, like on TV, a lot of people are narcissistic because TV is really just a flat screen. So their exaggerated behavior is interesting to watch on the flat screen, and it's perfect for that. But in real life, they are horrible people. I'm not going to mention names today, but there are many female celebrities that we have reports of the horrible. In fact, some of the music seems to encourage narcissistic behavior, because I think we've had a generation now or two that has had so many narcissists given free reign that narcissistic behavior is being seen as normal, or the society is accommodating to that narcissistic behavior. And people are afraid to speak against it, especially if it's against females, because you are labeled as, you hate women and other such nonsense. So it just makes it difficult for people to defend themselves, for fathers to defend themselves. That's why I call this brave fathers, because you have to be brave to do this. And look, I've seen victories against female narcissists, and I have had my own victories. I'm still learning. I can't even say that the fight is over. But as I keep learning, I share this with you. And I hope you can share it with me too. That's why I need your comments. That's why I need your questions. That's why I need to know what you are experiencing so that I can dig out things. I can go into my network and find answers for you. But the most important things that I want you to take away from today is that in reality, the narcissist is powerless. The female narcissist has no power in reality, but she leverages systems and other people to get at you. The only thing that keeps you connected to her is your former love for her, the feelings you had for her, and the wounds that you hadn't healed in yourself that she was putting, like a soothing cream on it that has got poison in it. So you didn't feel the pain. But that was not healing the wounds. It actually was widening them. That's why when she discards you, it feels so horrible because suddenly, she's left you. It's like I'm propping this up, right? But the moment I take this away, it falls, right? So I'm holding it up. I take it away. That's the discard. It falls. So it's the same thing. A lot of the pain you were going through, she was just propping you up in ways, and you thought, oh, wow, she's nurturing, she's supporting. No. She was helping you with things that really you should have helped yourself with, but you didn't know, you didn't realize it. Because prior to the narcissist getting into your life, you probably thought you needed someone. And a lot of guys still say, oh, I need that special woman, to support me, to give me the confidence. I want to come home to nourishing and supporting love. No. The truth is, you need to learn how to find it in yourself. And the narcissist cannot find it in herself ever. She never will. And as long as you don't find it in yourself, you're susceptible to her. Because the only difference between you and her at the end of the day, when it comes to this topic in this context, is you are able to see your mistakes, you're able to see your flaws, accept them, process them, and improve on them. And change yourself and change your life. She is not capable of doing that. And that's why she needs you. So remember, she is powerless, right? So we have to understand how she uses other people, how she uses the court system, how she uses the police and other situations to control your life. So this is what we have time for today. I will be on again this Wednesday. So watch out for that. Watch out on my feed. If you're subscribed, you make sure you get a notification. If you're not, subscribe, or just put it in your calendar just to watch out on my YouTube and on my X account to watch out for my next show. So we are going to go deeper into this to help you to expose the female narcissist, because you deserve better. You deserve better. So when in doubt, remember, you are the truth. All the power is in you. You have more power and more ability than you realize. And a lot of people become so much happier after the narcissist than they ever were before. I know it happens for me, right? So I won't go too much into my story now because we've got to end it now. You need help, get in touch. If you're going through family court and you need help, you don't know what to do, or you just want to get out of a narcissistic relationship, or you have too much pressure and you just need to talk to someone, get in touch with me. I always give an hourly free consultation, right? The same way as people help me, I want to help you out. Forgive me, but I've got to run. Thank you so much. And I'll see you again on Wednesday. This is John Paul from bravefathers.com. Remember, you are the
BraveFathers.com.